I'm David, and this is Elle, and we are two of the co-founders of Jumpstart Go, along with Renee, which runs this Facebook group that you guys are part of, Marketing for Insurance Agents. And we created this group as a resource for you guys to connect, ask questions, discussions, find referral partners, and just a super positive environment for agents to communicate and grow together, as well as for us to be able to do trainings every Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern, either a Facebook Live or webinar, where we talk about social media, strategic referral partner relationships, sales, automations, leads, strategic referral partners, growing your team, all things and growing and scaling your insurance business. We absolutely love the community. It's 32,500 insurance agents in here all across the country, all lines of insurance. We love having you guys here as part of the community because you guys are what makes it awesome, and being a part of it, coming to the trainings and dropping great posts and comments and asking good questions. So we love having you guys part of the community. In fact, if you know others, feel free to invite them on over. We'd love to have them part of the community too. So we also love where we get to work directly with agents and agency owners inside of our programs, the Closers Click, Producer Academy, Legends, help them grow and scale their businesses on that side. Absolutely love it, and love being able to help support them and make life-changing differences on that side. So, and even more so on their shirts. And we haven't shared this in a while, but I feel like some people may not know, like, the mission of Jumpstart Go is to help 10,000 insurance agents do over 10,000 a month in commissions or more for a $1.2 billion economic impact a year. It's a big mission. We got a little ways to go for sure on it, but that is our goal. And we want to help you guys grow and scale your businesses so you can then therefore help more insurance. And then off the side, practice where we teach, we have a life insurance agency ourselves, about 150 agents off the side. And so we love helping out on that side too. So amazing industry. We love it. And that's what we're going to dive into tonight, is how you can grow and scale your business here, especially through social. So Elle, anything you want to add before we dive in tonight?
No, I'm good. I'm excited to be here. Really looking forward to talking about my most favorite subject with everyone. So I'm really pumped to dive in. The meat and potatoes here of the training.
I heard steak. Those are steak and potatoes because I'm down. All right, make me hungry. It's not even dinner yet. All right, so let's go. Let me go ahead and tee up for tonight's training, and we'll hop right into the meat. So we've heard so many agents tell us social media isn't working for me, or they say I can't get enough leads or referrals from my posts. I guess I'm just not a social media person. I'm scared of social media. You know, I don't know how it works. It's sad to think that these agents completely give up on social media, while others are straight up crushing it with their content and that are getting them anywhere from 20 to 40 leads per week. Obviously, these agents are doing something right, and that's what we'll dive into today. All right, Elle, let's talk about the very first mistake that we see, and that's not optimizing the profile, the home base, and even letting people know what they do. So Elle, talk a little bit about the not optimizing the profile and what we see there.
Yes, absolutely. If you've been on a strategy session with us, you have heard us talk about this because this is the key thing that we do with people on strategy sessions, is we help them with optimizing their profile. And we look at profiles every single day. We are looking at insurance agents' social media profiles and looking at their presence online. And we've done this so much that we have a few key things that we know works on social media. And when people tell us, oh, maybe I've tried social media in the past, I've looked at doing this before, or I've even started posting some things, but I'm not really getting leads, I'm not really getting appointments, I'm not really getting conversations. It really all does start with having an optimized profile. And one of the first mistakes that we see agents make, and this is not necessarily their fault, it's just because likely nobody's ever told them before, is that they are using a business page instead of a personal profile for their content strategy. So they have this beautiful business page where it's all nicely branded to them and their business, and they're posting this content even on a regular basis, but it's like crickets. Nobody's responding to it. And you look at their personal profile, and there's absolutely no work done on the personal profile as far as knowing that they're even in the business of insurance. And David, can you share a little bit about that being one of the first mistakes that we see insurance agents making, and a little bit why we focus so heavily on the personal profile instead of the business profile?
Yeah, so we'll give a quick breakdown on just how social media works and why that makes sense. How does Facebook make money, or really any social platform, really, right? Because at the end of the day, everything revolves around it. we want to help people, we want to do the right things, but businesses do need money to survive, and they're publicly traded companies. They have to make money for the shareholders, right? So how do they make money? So we got the answer already is they make money from ads, right? As do most social platforms. Awesome job, guys. You guys paid attention. You guys got it right. So they make money through ads. At the end of the day, the way social media platform works is called an algorithm. And the way they design an algorithm is, to no surprise to anybody, to make money, right? That means cool. They have business pages and personal profiles. The business pages, one might think, oh, that's where I'm supposed to do my business content separately from my profile. And that's where I should post and talk about my business and do all these things, which will get me more business. And that's not how that works at all. And Facebook is not incentivized to really get your business page in front of anybody, for anybody to see that content, what you do there, because then you're not spending on ads, right? And then that makes them less money. In fact, they want you to spend on ads, or even worse, do a boosted post so they can collect that cash, right? Whether you get results or not, they don't really care. It really matters that you're spending money on ads. So business pages are also not what people get onto social media for. They're not getting on there to go hop around to different business pages and look and do business with someone. They're up in there for kids, grandkids, sports, things that they find interesting, right? So you're lucky if you get a 1% reach on business pages. Meaning, if you've got 1,000 people following that business page, you've done all that work, you've got people paying attention to it and following it. When you do a post, you're lucky if 10 people see it out of that 1,000. That's how much Facebook limits business pages. Even worse, if you're using a third-party platform to schedule those posts, but I'm not really going to go down that line. Now, on personal profiles, Facebook has the exact opposite incentive. It wants personal profiles and people interacting, engaging, talking to each other, spending time on the platform. It doesn't really care even what it's about. It could be about kittens or sports. It doesn't matter to Facebook. The main thing is that you're spending time on the platform and staying on the platform. And that means they get to serve more ads and make more money. Hey, that's Facebook's goal, right? And so, when we think about that, okay, cool. So that means people are interacting off personal profiles, sharing things, talking about it. Facebook wants to push that in front of more and more people. Awesome. That also means Facebook wants to see people engaging, because if people get bored, they leave the platform. Now Facebook can't serve ads and make money, right? So if people are posting boring stuff or something that gets no interest or no engagement, then Facebook doesn't really want to show that to people, right? So everything revolves around this. When you think about it, everything starts to make sense. Like, hey, how come when I post links to my calendar or to my website and tell people to book time with me or to click here for a free quote and stuff, I don't really get anything, right? Exactly, right? Why would you? You're sending people away from Facebook to other sites, especially if something like YouTube, like a competitor, and now Facebook no longer makes money because they've left the site. So Facebook doesn't want to show that post with a link to anybody. So when you start thinking about things, everything makes sense. That's how Facebook operates, and you're like, oh, okay, now I get it. Personal profiles are where it's at. That's how stuff works. That's how I should get results. That's how I play into this algorithm, because if I'm going to do the work of social, then I want results. I want what works, what's going to be effective. And that's what we focus on. And that's what we're talking about here. Hopefully that makes sense.
I love it.
So Elle, what's the main mistake on the personal profile that you mentioned before? Like, okay, if that's where people are supposed to find out a bit more about who I am, what I do, then, does it help if they're a secret agent?
Does not help if you're a secret agent. So what I tell people is when somebody goes to your profile, again, David just gave the perfect reason why we focus on the personal profile instead of the business pages here. But so when somebody goes to your personal profile, you really want them to think that you help people like them. Okay. So we want to start thinking about building and branding the personal profile so that when your ideal target audience goes and checks you out on social media, they're looking at your profile, kind of learning a little bit more like who you are, what you do. When they land on it immediately, they think, oh, David helps people like me. And they understand that it's through the vehicle of insurance that he helps people. So we want to start thinking about ways that we can brand ourselves on that personal profile. And there's a few key areas that I think are super important to look at. And that's your cover photo at the very top of, on Facebook specifically, your cover photo is a great place to brand yourself. And then also your intro or your bio. You're going to have opportunities on any type of social media platform that you're on to have some sort of intro or bio that should speak very clearly to your target audience that you are looking, your niche, your specific specific group of people that you're looking to connect with, that intro should speak to them. And it should also either speak to a pain that you're helping them avoid, or a problem you're helping them solve, or a dream outcome that you're helping them to achieve. And thinking about how you can be as specific in that messaging as possible. So instead of, just protecting assets, really thinking about taking that a step further. I kind of see sometimes like very broad, what I call marketing messages. But if you can really start speaking, like if business owners is your particular target audience that you're looking to connect with, that you're speaking to a specific pain point that business owners experience. Or if you're talking to homeowners, that you're speaking to a specific pain point that homeowners experience, or that families experience, or that seniors experience, and that you're getting very not high level, but that you're really speaking to that particular audience. And you want to make sure that that is coming through your profile.
Okay, cool. We got our profile optimized. We got our home base all set up. We got everything put in place there, went through all the steps, got the updates and stuff. So now we want people to see what we're doing and what we're talking about and what we're posting, but we also want it to be the right people too. So Elle, can you talk a little bit about building your audience? What does that mean, and why is that important?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of this comes down to, again, that target audience, and you really want to start there. You really want to start with who's that specific audience that you're trying to speak to, thinking about, again, that dream outcome or the pain that you're helping them to avoid. And when you start thinking about your particular target audience, you want to now build your audience on social media. So this is also something that I think that a lot of agents take a very passive approach to social media, where they're not actively connecting with people on a platform. So just like you would have a dial activity or some type of activity goal that you're setting for yourself for the day, of how many phone numbers you're dialing, or how many text messages you're sending, or how many emails you're sending. You want to start thinking about social media in the same way and building your audience so that you're adding, anywhere from 5 to 20 people to your audience every single day. So as you start to build that audience, the more and more people that are going to now become connected to you and part of your ecosystem. And like David mentioned before, as you start putting out great content, which we're going to talk about in a minute, more and more people are going to see that. And it's not going to be just anybody. It should be people that are of your specific target audience that you can do business with, either potential prospects or referral partners. And David, I would love for you to chat a little bit and share a little bit about what you see on your side as far as how agents can be really successful with building their audience the right way, the strategic way, not just the spray and pray method where we're just sending maybe random requests I don't know, let me just send a bunch of random requests to people. How can we actually be strategic about it?
I'll dive into that. And so there was a comment, the more active, the more they let you reach. And I wanted to bring that up because it's not necessarily how active you are. I could be very active on Facebook, but it doesn't mean necessarily Facebook's going to push my content in front of people and put it in front or show up on their feeds. That's actually based on the amount of activity my post and what I'm putting out is getting, right? So that's where Facebook is looking at whatever I'm posting. Like I said, once again, they don't really care what it's about, but is it getting comments, engagement, views, people watching the stuff? Cool, it is. Let's put it in front of more people because they'll probably watch it, view it, stay on Facebook longer and stuff too. So that actually plays more of a factor than how active I am, is how engaging and interesting that is my content and stuff I'm putting out. So as far as building an audience the right way, it's important because one, at the very basic level, Facebook, you get 5,000 friend connections. You can have more followers, but as far as friend connections, where Facebook's really showing content on their feed in front of them and that sort of stuff, as well as theirs in front of yours, you get 5,000. So that might seem like a big number, especially if you're newer on social, you haven't used it a lot or really focused on any of these strategies, but I promise you it's a much smaller number than you think. And so I want to make sure if I've got limited spots that I'm actually making sure I'm putting the right people into my audience as a part of that. So the next thing is, okay, who do I actually want to connect with? Who do I want to build and put in front? Because that's ultimately the people I want seeing what I'm doing, what I'm posting, coming to work with me, send people to refer to me at the end of the day. So I want to make sure I get the right audience in place, which is a beautiful thing. It's not a spray and pray. It's not throwing up a radio ad or a billboard and whoever sees it sees it. It's like I get to build my own audience, right? So some of that will be naturally them coming and wanting to connect with me, but I also get to go out and figure out who that is. So with that, I want to connect with my target audience, of course, and strategic referral partners and center influence. Those are really the main ones that I want to build and scale through. So the first thing is target audience, right? So that means that I need to know my target audience. Surprise, and my target audience can't be everybody, right? I think that's a common mistake we see with insurance agents. I want to help everybody, or I have such a wide range of products and services that everybody is my potential client and needs my help. And why you may be able to help a lot of people, we want to focus, who we're ultimately reaching out to, connecting with, messaging, helping to a specific audience or niche that we become the go-to and the authorities on, and we can always expand from there. But trying to focus on everybody means you focus on nobody, and it's much harder to get results. So let's find out our target audience. Cool. Now we want to connect with them and end up making sure they're part of our audience on our social. Next thing is strategic referral partners. I want people that deal with my target audience, have influence with them, they're in front of them, that those are customers of theirs. That's who I'd love to connect with as well, because they can send those people over to me or tag them, refer them to me, become a strategic referral partner where they consistently are sending those people over to me all day long. Or Facebook just naturally starting to put some of my content in front of some of their audiences, feeds and stuff as well. So I want to make sure that they're a part of my audience too and connect with them. And then the final one, centers influence, sort of like a strategic referral partner, but a little bit different. These are people that have influence, that they have followings. They're the people that know the people, or the people that are, city council, heads of the chambers of commerce, your local SBA chapter, things like that. That's who I also want to connect with, make sure it's part of my audience too. And those three are really what I want to build my audience with, because those are the people I really want to be connected to, seeing my content, referring people over to me, or coming to me directly to want to work with me.
Love it. Maybe you've already kind of recognized some areas of your social media strategy. If you have been working through social media, maybe it's that you're focusing on the business page instead of the personal page. Maybe you're not really actively building your audience. And so one of the great things about all of the social platforms too is that, there are suggested friends. Like each platform wants you to build your audience from your personal profile. So they will even suggest like, hey, do you know this person? Do you want to be connected with that person? And the more that you're strategic with building your audience and kind of doing this with kind of training the social platform with the people that you want to be connected with, the more of those types of people the platform's even just going to suggest that you connect with. So some of this is even just kind of like leaning into what the platform like wants you to do and how it wants you to sort of operate, and doing this consistently. So, all right, David. So I think this is probably, in my opinion, the biggest area that is like a lack of education around this specific topic here. And this is mostly, I think, when people think about social media, they think about putting out posts, and a lot of times they're doing branded posts. They might be using like a third-party platform, like you mentioned, to help schedule things. They might be using even something like Hearsay, for example, where it's getting pushed out to that business page. But with a lot of the content strategies that we see, there's a major element that's lacking, and that's actually creating a lead generating content strategy. So when we're looking at social media, we are using social media as a tool for our business and as a way to generate leads and opportunities. And when you get out on social media and you start putting content out there, you brand yourself, you do the optimized profile, you start connecting with people, you really not only need that content strategy, right? That's going to be the content that's staying in front of people, but we need a mechanism to actually turn all of our efforts that we're doing on social media into leads, into conversations, and booked appointments on the calendar. So before we talk about lead generating content, David, I would love for you to share what you see as being, key elements in a good content strategy in general, so that the platform rewards content, pushes the content further out to more and more people. What are some key elements that we see work well and a good content strategy for agents?
So I think at the very beginning, you got to realize like the goals and the outcomes, right? And a lot of this is not new or different than what's worked for centuries, right? Before internet, and people would get out in their communities, they would talk, they'd meet people, they'd build relationships, they would have referral partners, and they built their entire businesses locally and through relationships and stuff there as well. I'll tell you what they didn't do is they didn't sit at home, never tell anybody what they did or talk about it and get a bunch of business and grow a business that way. So they were out in the community and connecting with people, right? And so the same thing applies here. It is called social media, actually, not hermit media. It's social media. And so at the end of the day, like, do you think the successful insurance agents pre-internet stuff, did they hide in the bushes and just pop out, hey, you want some insurance, or get some insurance for me over here? Like, obviously it doesn't work. And it works for the food courts where they hand out the samples or whatever, and you eat the kung pao chicken or whatever and stuff. And you're like, man, I want that. Whatever. It doesn't work in insurance. Okay, guys, you can't just pop out the bushes and be like, yeah, buy some insurance for me. And so, and agents back in the day knew that, right? They didn't just, pop out the bushes and say buy insurance. And so at some level you realize, okay, there's got to be a little trust, a little rapport there if someone's going to move forward, especially protecting their possessions, their family, their health, and their future legacies. Yeah, it's probably important to have a little trust rapport. So I want to aim to also establish that through what I'm doing as part of my social content. Because if I'm just some random thing that they're scrolling and scroll past in their feed, it means nothing unless there's some trust rapport or something there. So I need to build that as a part of it, right? And I can't build that if, how much do you trust someone that you've never seen, never heard, and don't even know what they look like, don't know what, who it is talking, what it is they're saying or whatever. You don't have any trust for that person, right? So that's where being able to see and hear a person and be able to hear what they're saying helps establish trust rapport, right? So once again, like agents back in the day, did they just never leave the house, or did they actually go talk to people and build that trust rapport? They went and built it. So same thing here. I want to build that through my social and what I'm doing so that they actually will listen to what I say, want to connect with me. Like, man, I would like to work with David or work with Elle. They seem like the type of people I'd like to potentially have as an agent, or potentially be able to connect me with things and solutions that I need. So this all comes in the social strategy. And it actually goes back a little bit to what Elle and I were talking about as far as how this algorithm works. So the first thing is I need some engagement, or else I'm never going to get in front of anybody, right? If I can post all day long 50 million times a day, but if it's not anything that's getting any sort of engagement and entertainment, then no one's going to see my post. It doesn't matter how detailed I get on IULs and and percentages or like complex advanced strategies where no one sees it if I'm not getting engagement as part of it. So that's the very first thing, is I want to use engaging content. People don't get on social media partly be entertained to learn, but not if it's boring. And I'm going to be honest, guys, insurance to most people is not the most exciting thing in the world. So you got your little work cut out for you. So what do we use for engagement to get in front of people? We use humor. Humor's great. If you see, actually, we have a lot of agents ourselves in like Closers Click and stuff using like memes and different things that are kind of fun or topical and stuff to make important points. And we'll use that as far as getting engagement, entertainment, and building kind of goodwill with prospects and stuff as well. And then they'll also use stories. Stories. People inherently connect through stories. Stories, kind of is when someone tells a really good story, not only do you get the examples and the points they're making that captivated you through that story, but you're also end up connecting with them a bit from them telling that as well. So stories do very well. And then using just even posts for engagement. You may see posts that look silly, like, oh, you Apple, Android, cat, dog, things like that. But those also get engagement, which in Facebook eyes means, hey, people are paying attention. People like the stuff. People are engaging with it. Let's show more of David's content to more people. And this is where we get to the business portion of now, as we cover certain things on the business side, it's now getting pushed to the audience where it wouldn't get in front of anybody if I was just creating business content all day. Hey, if your memes are dark humor a little bit, is okay if that's your audience you're going after.
Yeah.
If your audience would not appreciate dark humor and be completely not in line with that, then maybe that's not my best strategy. But if the people you want to work with would find that also funny and be your type of people, then yeah, it can work for sure. So I love it. Ellie, you want to talk a little bit more?
Yeah, so I love what you shared so far. So just to, if you're writing notes down, we're talking about the content strategy, and there's some key pieces that David's already mentioned as far as a great content strategy. First, your content needs to be engaging. People need to be liking it in some way, whether that's through humor, whether that's sharing stories, whether that's like wishing people a happy birthday on your feed, which we have clients that do that all the time, and that's a great way to get engagement. Whether it's starting fights over Apple or Team Apple, Team Android on social. That's another great way to get engagement. So even things that aren't necessarily directly related to insurance necessarily, thinking about just your profile as a whole, that we want to be posting things that are getting engagement, okay? And that are interesting to our audience, and that where we're connecting with our audience over the thing. Over these things. In addition to that, we do want to, again, we don't want to just operate as a secret agent. We want to position ourselves as that subject matter expert. So talking about your business, starting to educate people, thinking about frequently asked questions that you get from clients or prospects. What are some of the common objections that you're getting on the phone? Telling a story about how you were able to help a client, sharing about how you got into insurance. All of these things make great social media topics for you to share, in addition to the engagement content and sharing humor, sharing stories, Team Apple or Team Android, those types of things. So we do absolutely, again, this is all coming from your personal profile. We want to provide that business content. And then with this, we want to also have a mechanism. Okay, so we talk about engaging content, and then we also talk about business content where you're positioning yourself as that subject matter expert. We now need a way to take all of this energy that we've been putting into our social present and turn it into leads and opportunities. And this is where, from David and I's experience of doing this, that most even marketers out there really fail to do this, especially when you're talking about organic social media. They're going to focus more on everything that we just talked about, and they miss one key thing. And this is going to be your lead generation mechanism. So we love using what's called either a lead magnet, is the marketer's term for it. We like calling it a conversation starter, because that's really how we look at these pieces of content. So really starting to think about something that is valuable to your particular target audience, whether that's a guide or a checklist, or maybe you did a Facebook Live training and that's something that you can offer to your audience is something valuable, okay? And putting this out to your audience and asking your audience who wants this thing. It's something that you put together for free. And when you've optimized your profile and you've built your audience the right way, and your audience is full of people that are of the target audience, and now you're creating something that is valuable for them and asking them, hey, I just put this free guide together on, it could be best family activities to do for under $30 and in your particular city or neighborhood. And if your target audience is families and you have a bunch of families that you're connected with, of moms and dads in your social media ecosystem, you better believe people are going to say, I'm interested. I would like that. Please send it over to me. And now we have an excuse to, we're not like, cold DMing people or anything like that on social media, but now we have an excuse to reach out to them, have a conversation with them. And David, I'll turn it over to you at this point, because you say something all of the time about this, as far as when we're thinking about leads at the end of the day, we're thinking about the lifeblood of our business. What is it really that we're looking to generate? What is that one metric that we all need to be focused on?
And the metric isn't leads, isn't DMs, isn't dials. It's none of that. At the end of the day, all those things can lead to what that metric is. But the number one metric that I'm shooting for every day, my agents are shooting for, our clients are shooting for, is conversations. I need to talk to people every day. This is not a game that we play in a vacuum and have no interaction or conversation with people. I have to have conversations to put deals across the line, to have referral partners sending me referrals, to build and scale. Like, it comes from conversations, and conversations equal opportunities. So I have to be focused on generating conversations each day, whether it's prospects, referral partners, COIs. I have to be focused on generating conversations. So at the end of the day, that means I can't just post things and things on social. Like, I need to get it to the point of where I'm actually talking with someone, whether that's in Messenger, whether that's in a phone call, a meeting. I need to get to the point where I can get a chance to talk and discuss things with them, because that's where we find out how we can help them with a policy, how we can work together as referral partners, all of that. So conversation is number one metric, guys.
Absolutely. So when we want to think about our content strategy as a mechanism for conversations, and way too many agents, post on social media and then they'll hope and they'll pray that somebody sends them a direct message, and they do not have a mechanism for actually creating conversations and DMs outside of just cold DMing people. And this is something that I feel like really makes us different. I don't think there's anybody in the space that teaches this type of strategy to agents on this conversation starter strategy on how to not only create your conversation and create your free thing that you're going to offer to your audience, but then how to actually craft the post and how to position it in such a way so that people are going to put their hands up. And one thing, with this is that you might go through a few different trainings, or you might go through a few different iterations of a conversation starter or a lead magnet to find like what's actually hitting with your particular target audience. Mm-hmm. We have one client in the Medicare space, and he did this and generated over 60 leads. And the thing that really hit with his audience was how to save on prescription drugs. And as soon as he offered that to his audience, he had people like, me, I'm interested, send it to me. It's like sometimes people are like dropping their phone numbers, dropping their emails in the comments of the post because it's so valuable to them, because they want it. And you've got a great training, you've got a great conversation starter when you've got people that are commenting like that, or maybe they even reach out to you like, hey, I saw that you posted that you have this thing. Can you send it over to me? And that's ultimately what we want to get to there. So if you have not thought about it in this way, I really encourage you to start thinking about what you can start offering to your audience that is of substance to them, that is valuable for them, that gives you that kind of excuse to reach out to them and start that conversation with them.
I love it. So at the end of the day, guys, the entire social strategies, yes, there's a lot of different things that go into that. No, it doesn't have to take a bunch of time. It's really a matter of doing the right things, and it leads to the conversations and the appointments, the calls and the sales, the referrals, and growing and scaling your business. And that's the whole point of social. Would I be on Facebook if it wasn't for business and generating business? No, I'm not a Facebook fan. Sorry, Zuck. Don't kick me off Facebook Live. But it is such an effective and good tool for building and scaling your business that we have to be. And you're missing out. It's so profitable for growing and scaling when people are coming to you, wanting to work with you, wanting to send people to work with you, that you can't not be doing it. So if you're kind of tired of the smiling and dialing, you want more people that want to work with you, that want to do business, that want to come sit down with you, you want to build the brand where people know you, your agency, they want to come work with you or want to actually be part of your team, then that's really where this can do things that the other side just can't do at all. That's why social media is so powerful. That's why we love it. I think if you're going to use something like that on social, I'd highly recommend doing that as a video of you going through and talking and telling that. Use some sort of hook, like as a sentence for them to then click in and watch the video. But once again, people hearing you, seeing you, that helps build trust and authority versus just posting a joke. And so I would definitely do a little video, but I think that's great for that. So fantastic. Hopefully this has been super helpful. This is our passion. This is what we are really well known for. This is what we love. It's growing and scaling through social referral partners organically. And it's such a big advantage for agents and agencies that put this in place. So